Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My drop, I know my drop, I know my situation. I don't want to fight.
Massive production.
But it's gonna be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com. Good morning, TBV, and welcome back to another Monday morning edition of some good old-fashioned boxing talk with TBV. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO, but you can catch me every day, 5 times a week at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. West Coast, 2 p.m. UK time, right here with the fellas, kicking back, talking boxing. Today's topic is Saunders, Andrade, or shall I say Andrade Saunders. Now that this belt has flip-flopped, we'll give you all the details, but Billy Joe tested positive for an adverse finding, which will give you the exact details. I know it was a nasal spray that gave him superhuman strength. No, I'm joking, but something like that. And he had to vacate his title or vacated his title. I mean, Ron is the facts guy. He'll give you the exact reasons why he is no longer the WBO champion and why Andrade fought in a vacant title eliminator or a vacant title shot for it versus someone no one can remember. I believe he was like African, but that's been kind of the DAZN way these days. You know, the diets over at DAZN are pretty similar to the Top Rank, man. It's funny, you know, I always talk about those diets at Top Rank. Bruce Trampler used to work for Lou DiBella. Can you believe it? If you Google that dude, excuse me, Carl Moretti. So after I interviewed Carl Moretti, I was like, you know what? Let me find out what's his exact title. And he's the VP of operations over at Top Rank. But in 2009, he was with Lou DiBella. And, you know, Bob came a call and gave him that big old check. And he's been pro Top Rank ever since. But matchmaking, man, matchmaking, you know, it's a huge part of this sport. This right here is something that hardcore fans don't have to worry about matchmaking. This is great matchmaking and the irony of that statement is that it's not like the opposite. Normally when fight fans say, man, that's great matchmaking, it's because one side is the clear favorite to beat the other side. But this being great matchmaking because for fight fans, we're happy about this little fight. I mean, it could go many ways. You know, it could definitely be a snooze fest with two boxers, but we'll get into it. And some audio that we have right here in the morning show. You know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, if you want to call in internationally, you don't want to waste any minutes, download the Skype app. It's free on Android. It's free on iPhone. You can just add Nestor Gibbs, be part of the conversation while you're there. Download the Patreon app and be part of the TBV army. Receive all the exclusive content. The Untitled post is about to be out, and we are taking your topics and suggestions for today's episode of Untitled, only to be found on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. ThaBoxingvoice.com.
I've been doing this. I ain't been up and fell off. I've been through the Lennox Lewis era, the Nassim Hamed era, the Sugar Shane Moses era, the Oscar De La Hoya era, Mark Anthony Barrera. I've been through all the eras, and I still been
How much you talking? You do too much talking. The thing is this.
People want their subjective preference to be the objective reality.
HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Good morning. Good morning. So we are back to kind of piggyback what Ness was asking. As a reminder, Billy Joe Saunders, long time ago, around like 2018, Billy Joe Saunders failed his drug test ahead of his title defense with a voluntary drug test with the anti-doping. From that point, we already know what happened. He vacated his title through Saunders' failed divided testing. He didn't face any type of punishment from the British Boxing Board of Control, which regulates the boxing in the UK. But since the fight was supposed to happen in the US, it caused some kind of problems at that point when they had a set fight. So at that point, sure enough, Demetrius Andrade fought for the belt, vacant belt, won the belt, and recently defended the belt in Madison Square Garden. The WBO sanctioned bodies now mandating some sort of negotiation, work something out eventually to get these two guys back in the ring. And it's rightfully so, because many people felt Demetrius Andrade, even though he won the belt, is the paper champion. And the best way to prove that you are the champion is to beat the champ. Billy Joe Saunders recently also fought as a cruiserweight not too long ago, of almost like 200 pounds. That's what everyone was saying. But above his weight limit, as kind of like a get off the couch and get busy. So hopefully he can come in shape with this. But this all leads down to a possible maybe the zone showdown, because we know Danny Jacobs is lined up to fight Canelo in May at T-Mobile Arena. So this is a great clash of Triple G maybe coming over here. Jamal Charlo's flirting with the WBC interim battles of the board. So, but let's pass it on to other guys and let's discuss this.
It's me, Mario.
What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Let's have a good show. Good Untitled. Got the Grammys last night. My man Childish Gambino won for best record, best song. This Is America. Really captured the tempo of, or not the tempo, but just the entire aura of America at that point, and it was the jam of the summer for sure. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to Cardi B, who I think not unfairly, but she definitely deserved the Grammy. But anyway, as far as this goes, yeah, album of the year, that's what she got. My bad. Thank you, Ron. But real quick, just a couple of things to piggyback off of Ron. What he did get banned for, the substance he failed while under VADA testing, was for oxyloofrin. Oxyloofrin. I'm going to pronounce it like that, even though I'm butchering it, I'm sure. Now, the problem that Saunders had with him failing is that this was not on the in-competition list of banned substances. And as Ness alluded to earlier, he did say his argument was that, or his, I guess, excuse was that the substance was ingested through an over-the-counter nasal decongestant. I don't know how much anybody believes that, but that's what he said. Now, we are talking about this fight because the WBO, I'm sorry, not the WBO. Yes, the WBO has lifted the suspension that they
they're ordering this. They're ordering.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're ordering it. So we have the WBO has lifted the suspension, I believe, that they had on Saunders, and now they're ordering the fight to be completed, or they're ordering the fight between Andrade and Saunders. So the WBO said, consequently, we recommend the WBO World Ratings Committee officially reinstate the official reinstatement of Mr. Saunders within the WBO middleweight division ratings and be positioned as the #1 contender accordingly. Further, if the WBO ratings committee adopts this committee's recommendation, we hereby designate Mr. Saunders as the official mandatory challenger of the aforementioned division pursuant to Section 1, subsection B23 of the reference regulation. So, yeah, the man's back going. Mike, what's going on, man?
I speak it, believe it, receive it.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Total mistake, Mike.
Look who in the building. Let me check my Instagram. I might be at 1 million. And I'm in.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You're muted. Mute. You're muted, Mike.
Microphone's muted, I think. Not the actual Google Play.
He's just mute.
Mike the mime. What are you doing?
Yeah, he's hilarious. Then he just want to smile.
I think he's trolling us.
Mike,
you're trolling us, right?
He really think we hear him.
That was like the YouTube, the trick where they make you invisible. They throw the sheet over, and then they take it off. Everybody think you're invisible. You know what I'm talking about? Shut up, Ron. You know you're a millennial. You know what the hell that trick is.
What?
Well, I mean, look, until he figures it out, let's just get into it, because this dude is, I don't even understand. Like, how does the studio never work? how many jobs do you have in that one studio that the buttons need to be changed so much? But I mean, look, I'm excited about this. This is a fight that I wanted. I'm trying to get these Box Live rankings up because they're the only ones I know that do all of the rankings on one page from all various sanctioning bodies. But this is a good fight, especially since we've been getting, a weird kind of DAZN from over there. I mean, Andrade is the last two guys. I know he fought Wolverine, which I think his last name is Akakov, maybe, but that's about it. They've kept him active, and I know his team is happy about that. So for Andrade, listen, even remember, if you can remember when this this fight first was talked about, Eddie Hearn was saying how if it was up to him, he would have had Andrade get a couple of fights before he fought Billy Joe. So for anyone, I think it's good for Andrade. Him and his team got what they wanted. It was an opportunity. He had just signed a DAZN and he couldn't turn it down, but everyone knows that isn't what he wanted. And I think this is an advantage for him coming into this fight the way that he is versus Billy Joe, who isn't as active as, Billy Joe, Demetrius Andrade. I think that this makes Andrade a little sharper, allows him to be, find his range and things like that. Just, be in tune where Billy Joe might have a little bit of rust.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The last time we saw,
finally,
you're good. You're good.
Finally live.
Try putting some tape next to them buttons, like I told you.
Nah, it's not even the buttons, man. My shit was what even live from last night. But what's up, man? Yeah, Billy Joe Saunders back at it, talking shit like he always do. But I'm kind of excited for this fight, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad the WBO made it a mandate. But like I was telling Mario on our previous thing that we did, they have to do something about universal drug laws. You can't just be something's good over here and it's not good over there. I'm not understanding how he can get popped, but then the BBOC comes back and says that everything is all good and there's nothing to worry
because you
about.
gotta remember, it's like if you get caught in Texas, but you live in New Jersey, it's two different commissions until there's a universal commission, which there should be because boxing is worldwide. But I mean, just think about the paperwork, right? And the amount of manpower that it's going to take to get data entry on all these fighters, log all these things. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. I mean, I know there's a lot of money, though. There is a lot. There definitely should be the money to pay with all the sanctioning fees these poor fighters have to pay. I mean, we've heard rumors of $40,000 for some per fight. So, I mean, there should be some money to do all these things, but I don't know.
Outside of that, I mean, whoever their strength conditioning or the coach or how it's set up, and I'm not going to sit here. I know about how the drug testing works, and I'll find out more. I'll put my time in research, but at some point, you feel like there should be a dedication to the fighter, the training camp, to go find out everything on the X list, just so that they can always go and just double check. And if they get something that they're unsure about, they should do the extended research before prescribing and handling it, because they knew they were enrolled in VADA, because the whole concept is, well, it's fine over in the UK, which is
I'm gonna take the opposite route here, and maybe it's not the popular one, but I don't think it should be the fighter's duty. I know that we can hang it on him and say, well, it's his responsibility if he wants to be a superstar, if he wants to be in this big fights. I get it. But, boxing is a blue-collar sport. So many times you interview these fighters and they tell you, man, I just fight. I just want to fight. I just like to fight. These guys, we expect them to overnight become CPAs, become marketing gurus, become fashion designers and experts, become public speakers. I mean, the burden that's put on their shoulders is ridiculous. And I know that it comes from myself and my panelists and the
same burden on every other professional athlete.
Okay.
It is, and Mike.
To who much is given, much is required.
In other sports, they have team public relations that handle a lot of shit. NFL has people in place, and that is exactly what I'm saying. So I do not think it's up to the fighter. I think that we hopefully one day we're in a place where boxing has something implemented for these type of things. And I'm alive to see it. But I don't think it's the fighter's job. The fighter is here to fight, bro. He's a blue collar dude. Half of these dudes don't even get their fucking GD.
Well, listen,
all of a sudden
we have to.
That's why I was saying. That's why I was saying the strength and conditioning team or whoever's in charge outside of this, there has to be a system where they got each other's back. It's more.
It's gotta be.
Listen, it's hard though. It's hard. These guys don't get to that level with strength and conditioning a lot of times. Like it's really hard for these guys. I will say this: if
everybody could afford
Mike
a
said
conditioning coach,
exactly. When me and Mike did this breaking news show, okay, Mike had said that there should be like a separation, and he reminded me of the Olympics, and this was after the show was over, so I'm not going to say I said this on air, but one of the things Mike had recommended that made me think later is like if you look at the Olympics, like let's just take like gymnastics, right? A lot of competitions around the world, they have their own protocol and their own testing, but when it comes to the Olympics, they have a certain standard and a certain protocol that they abide by. And that's kind of what boxing could do. You know what I mean? We could find a way where, yes, as you're boxing and going up the ranks, you deal with whatever comes your way, kind of how it is now, but championships need to get together to like these sanctioning bodies and world titles and even Ring Magazine step in there. Like everybody can come together and kind of at least agree on these terms that we agree to, because this whole conversation started because Mike said, I don't like how some things are good for others and some things aren't. We look at this, okay? And Billy Joe Saunders, just so y'all understand this, did fight before his suspension was lifted, okay? He fought against Charles Adamu, and I believe it was on ESPN Plus, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was on the Carl Frampton undercard.
They didn't televise it.
They didn't televise his portion, though, right? Okay,
No.
So he fought on December 22nd, 2008. I'm sorry, 2018. And before that, he had fought last against David Lemieux on December 16th, 2017. So, it's just such a weird thing. Obviously, if he goes into this fight with Andrade, he's not going to have another fight, which I agree 100% with Ness. It absolutely favors Andrade. Gives him a little bit of a leg up.
Yeah, and the David Lemieux was like the performance where if you felt that he was going to win, I think he did it in a way where it seemed more convincing that he wasn't 50-50 with David Lemieux, which people were pushing that out. He dominated David Lemieux. And coming off a performance like that, and DAZN being this launch of a new sporting platform in the U.S., I remember that was actually a selling point to get DAZN, which many people were actually like, yo, Billy Joe and Demetrius Andrade and DAZN, bet. I know Ness went out there. I know a lot of people went out there. And that was kind of the first kind of thing where people were spinning that, oh, look at DAZN fucking up already. But that was their attempt to try to make something good. And that was the fight that we wanted to see. That was actually a very good fight. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. So
I hate how they do that. Like, that was DAZN's fault. But you're absolutely right. In this section, like, okay, let's fast forward the clock now. We're back here present. Let's forget what happened. DAZN is in a very good position. And DAZN, what they're doing, it does work out. If we're able to accomplish a Billy Joe Saunders, Demetrius Andrade fight on the heels of, or slightly, well, I guess it wouldn't be slightly before, but on the heels of a Canelo Alvarez, Daniel Jacobs. And then we were to get these two guys, the winners of these two fights, to lock up before the end of the year. I would rather see that than Golovkin, to be honest with you, because the Golovkin fight's going to be there. And besides, if Andrade's better than than the other three, or Billy Joe's better than the other three, or Daniel Jacobs is better than the other three, then that's the man that should fight Golovkin.
But yeah,
and honestly, Billy Joe was had a fight scheduled with Martin Murray, and he pulled out for injury causes. But many people believe that he pulled out to put his name in the Triple G running. But in the fight of Canelo and everything escalated towards that. But what Billy Joe is, man, look. The guy's a good boxer, man. The guys can talk just like Fury. I just don't like the different rules and different territories. Like Ness was saying, there should be enough money with the WBC, WBA, IBO, IBF, and WBA to like have something for like their top 10, top 15 guys doing year round, so we can know what everybody's taking and make sure that everybody's clean. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be a equal playing field, right? So let's make it that.
Let's get to this audio.
And my next fight, no matter what, my next fight, I have to be world champion to do what I want to do. Because if I'm not world champion in my next fight, then it sort of derails my thoughts. And I'm not sitting here demanding my promoter or demanding my management, but I've said what I want. I've said what I want, and I mean it, because I want to be world champion. As soon as I left that ring in Manchester, I'm not looking at no performance or saying I boxed well, boxed shit. I just did it for it, stopped in 4 rounds, got out. But when I got back home, I was like, when I made that decision, I have to be world champion. I have to be world champion in my next fight. If I'm not, then it's a big failure. The plan is aborted.
Wow, no mic. Very echoey. But yeah, he says that he has to be world champion in order to get this lucrative deal. But I mean, I hope they can come to an agreement. I know this is Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn. Eddie offered him a lot of money the first time around, but that was before the Canelo deals, before the Golden Boy deals. Is there going to be the same type of money to throw at Billy Joe Saunders not to lose this fight? Or do you guys think that DAZN can do it again?
If Jacobs got 15 million, how much you think Billy Joe can get?
Well, this is a one fight thing, remember?
Well, I think
Billy Joe still has a contract, a promotional contract with Frank Warren. This is just WBL mandating.
I think they had put in the production.
Well,
they had put in the production chat that it could be an ultimatum.
We assume that he does, like we assume Dylan White has.
Yeah. I'm just going off what Eddie says. You know what I'm saying? Like, does he?
Yeah. Listen, a lot of people said that this could be sort of an ultimatum, and I believe that it could be. But can DAZN accomplish it? Yes, they can. They can accomplish it, and they can, I think, get all the parties to the table. And it's best for fans. It's best for them.
Agreed. Let me play this second clip here.
If that is the case, yeah, then that means that if you want to be world champion in your next fight, that means you can only fight the current champions now. But a lot of them are already locked into fights, which means is the plan to not fight until the end of the year?
No. I'll be
later in the year?
No, I'll be out very, very soon. I want to be out. I already said I want to be out at least,
Well, we know they did a WBO mandatory, but we don't know what's happening there at the moment.
Well, listen, worst comes to worst. I will be fine for a world title next, no matter what.
Okay.
No matter what, whether it's waiting, whether it's a phone call tomorrow or tonight, I will be world champion within the next. I want to be world champion certainly before the summer.
Before the summer, is that what he said? Can't even understand this shit.
For sure.
Before the summertime.
I wish
like she used like a cup of string.
Because I would have played audio before. We would have never played that shit.
It sounded like she used like a cup and some string.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, I heard it.
Fucking bathroom with no microphone.
They were in some sort of room. I don't know what it was, but yeah, listen, the way that he's talking right there, look, I feel like he knows what he has in front of him. I feel like offers are on the tables, but I think that they are, what's the word? I guess like paramount for him to win that title, right?
The man with the excuse, man. This guy got so many fucking different excuses about why he's not where he needs to be and what he's going to do when he comes back, man.
Hold on.
Same guy.
I don't know. I mean, could he have gotten the Triple G fight, Mike? That's kind of what I'm basing on.
He signed for the Triple G fight twice. They played the games with him. They used
true
on for the Canelo fight. So I don't know what Mike's bitter about. Not only that,
bitter about because the guy.
He signed Demetrius Andrade. He went through the press conferences and everything.
Did it happen?
what happened. It's not his fault that there's two separate commissions.
But I get
It's
Mike's.
not his fault, though.
I get Mike's
It's your
issues.
responsibility to know what's
No,
going
it's
on your body.
not his fault.
Yes, it is, bro.
I don't know if it's his
A whole
fault.
nother fucking country. It got
But you signed up for VADA.
All right.
So you should know what VADA entails.
No, it's his fault that he didn't.
You are a
He
professional.
didn't say what he was taking beforehand.
Yeah,
Because
it wasn't on
had
the
he
endless
said it-
competition.
Had he said it, something else could have happened. It could have been done differently, but he didn't say what he was taking. Same thing as Louis Ortiz.
But you got to understand where Mike is coming from in this situation, because he beat Andy Lee, who was the guy at the at a certain point. He was one of the few guys. Listen to me.
What do you
Andy Lee in 2015, he beat Andy Lee, who had that middleweight title, and that was the guy that we wanted to see Triple G fight. We were all talking about that fight.
Man,
Get
you
Andy Lee and Triple G. No, everybody was talking about that fight. Listen, we had that man on the show, and you asked him too. You wanted to see him. So then here comes, but no, you asked him, bro. Man, I'm gonna go. You know what? For that, I'm gonna fucking go and cut your audio for that shit. Listen to me. Billy Joe Saunders beat Andy Lee in 2015. And I'm not going to say he hasn't done nothing, but he certainly hasn't done anything to propel himself to get to that level. And, now it's kind of like he's behind the 8 ball, right? So to speak. So now he wants anything and whatever he can get to get those Canelos and Golovkins and of the world. And beating Andrade is a good way to do it.
Yo, all right, let me say my thoughts in, because hold on. You said this is a simple concept. He wants to be in contentions of fighting the big fights. How do you get the big fights? You want the championship belt. I don't think there's anything strange for him going, I want to, if I don't get this belt, I'm out of the running, because it's a unification, undisputed situation going on in the middleweight division. He knows what he had that allowed him to get these talks, but he never got the fights for whatever reason. But he knows the value that if he doesn't have it, where does he fit in the picture? He needs to get the belt. That's what he's saying. So his lottery ticket is to win the belt, and he understands the importance of that. And that's fair. That's an understandable thing where he acknowledges, and he's not. If he goes to Demetrius Andrade, he understands that this middleweight division is a sweepstake and it's moving. Look at Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs lost to Triple G on paper, but he got a alleged 8-figure salary or a purse from Eddie Hearn. That's what he claimed. And look, he's in good situation. Demetrius Andrade is sitting there, keeps fighting. He's going to get that opportunity depending on when. He needs that belt if he wants to be part of that.
Man,
my only problem with Billy
got
Joe
that
Saunders,
opportunity. Go ahead, Mike.
My only problem with Billy Joe is the fact that he's not consistent with like what he does inside and out of the ring. To be honest with you, like when he fought Wolverine, same guy that Demetrius Andrade fought, the guy had a shit performance. Didn't look like the Billy Joe that we seen against David Lemieux. So right there, you have two different ends of the spectrum. A guy that he's supposed to look incredibly in against a Demi tune-up, and he really don't look like much of anything. Then he fights David Lemieux, somebody that we thought maybe give him a problem or two, and then he looks spectacular. And ever since then, it's been downhill though. The thing with the homeless guy outside of it or whatever, and then the lady that he made a proposition to on another IG post, and then this whole drug thing. Like Billy Joe is not. I don't know how focused he is on being the very best. You know what I'm saying? So coming right back in against Demetrius Andrade could be a mistake.
Look, all I know is that Ness said that Andrade needed a couple fights, and that would give him, or he said that Frank had said that, or one of them had said that.
Eddie
had said that he would rather have Andrade get a couple fights under his belt, right? But you're looking at a guy who, he's been in this position for so long. Remember, HBO, was on the fence about, airing Andrade's fights at a point. But since 2014, let me just run this by y'all. He had one fight in 2014, did Andrade. He had one fight in 2015. One fight in 2016, 2 fights in 2017, 1 fight in 2018, and thus far 1 fight in 2019. This man has been avoided from 154 to 160, and it's about time that he gets his shot. That's my final words on it.
I would say, promotional managerial issues, more like it.
That's a good point too.
My take on all of it is when people look at Danny Jacobs, he quote unquote won on paper. He never beat the guy with a vacant belt. Demetrius Andrade, unfortunately, didn't get the opportunity to fight Joe Saunders. Won on paper. I think there's this demand to see Billy Joe at least fight these guys.
Yo, Javier's point, that's why he didn't use his call, to come in. Talking about my point is like Ness saying that it's not your fault for getting arrested in another state for smoking weed in a state that is legal in. No, because here in the United States, we know the 51 states. Like, you're supposed to know your country. It's not up to Billy Joe to know another fucking country. He fights in the UK. Every now and then he gets a fight abroad.
Fighters worldwide.
You want him to know all the fucking details of everything going on out there? No. Again, there should be a governing body in place. It shouldn't be up to the fighter. The fighter is here to fight, man. The fighter is here to fight. You can't be worrying yourself with all that. That's why fighters don't sell tickets after a certain level. You know, that fighters don't give you their phone number. Look at Teofimo. I was in the dressing room with Sonny Conto, and Teofimo said, "Nah, man, talk to me. When I'm in here, I zone out. I don't talk to nobody. Talk to me. Let me take some of the heat off them." Why? Because it's fight time, not fucking negotiation time, man. To be a manager time, or Javier call at the last minute time. No, it's fight time.
Yo, that's dope, Teofimo. He said that.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, that's a real G. That's a real ass move right there.
Yeah, he took me off to the side. He was like, "Nah, come on, talk to me. Let him zone out. Let him focus." I'm like, "All right, let's talk then."
Yo, that's real talk right there.
Wow. Like, dog, fighters fight, man. Listen, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I had a different mindset, bro. But like, we're asking way too much. Is it beautiful to get a fighter that can do all the above? Absolutely, it's beautiful. But if we run across one that doesn't, are we gonna, condemn them because they don't? Like, isn't the thing that we want out of them to be fighters in the ring? Now you got to be a businessman. You got to be a marketer. You got to be a model too, and a fashion design and all that shit that makes fucking Mike happy. And
you
then
ain't got to be none of that. Only thing you got to be is responsible. That's it.
Stop lying. Stop lying. That's what you say
now.
Like, we haven't done shows, saying, "Oh, Crawford should have called out Pacquiao. Oh, look at what this guy did or didn't do." Like, we always have.
We talking about drug testing though, homie. You moving the goalposts again.
No, I'm not. I'm saying we as fans always have an opinion. That's what I'm saying. We always have an opinion. It's never going to change. So the fighter shouldn't have to worry about none of that. He should just worry about fighting.
They got places now where you can actually take these supplements that you're taking to make sure that they're not tainted. You know what I'm saying? Like a third party of business.
Cool.
So there's things out there.
You're saying the fighter
fighters
get 12 weeks instead for camp, right? Because now he needs a couple of weeks to find these locations that you're talking about.
Oh, they're not hard, bro. At all. They're not hard to find at all, man.
But how much do they cost though? Because I've heard of places like that
8 weeks
that are expensive.
Do it on the 8 weeks and cut out of his training. This is what I'm talking about.
What
but
you
look,
mean do it only 8 weeks? If you know you're gonna be doing VADA testing,
what's
bro.
your Instagram and social media, fam?
I ain't got none.
At Mar Mugia on Instagram and Twitter.
And my little quick final thoughts. Maybe if there's a system where they can send it, get it approved, come back, take it. That would be dope. If not, we don't know. I don't know. But you can find Ranji FIQ.
Peace.